You may not like Trump, you may not trust him, but what if he was right all along? He warned America not once, not twice, but 3 times, and we didn't listen. Now we're living through the fallout. Brace yourself, because this might just change how you see everything. In the volatile landscape of American politics, few figures have stirred the pot quite like Donald J. Trump. Love him or hate him, one fact remains undeniable. He made bold predictions, and several of them are now echoing back louder than ever before. From economic warnings to foreign policy red flags and threats to free speech, Trump raised alarm bells on 3 key issues. These weren't random outbursts or political gimmicks. In hindsight, they look a lot like warnings America should have taken seriously. Let's break it down. The 3 major warnings that Trump shouted from the rooftops, while much of the world chose to ignore him. Warning number 1, the border crisis would spiral out of control. Since the day he descended that golden escalator in 2015, Trump made immigration one of his central issues. He spoke about the southern border as a national emergency, warning of the consequences of open border policies and weak enforcement. Critics mocked him for wanting to build the wall, but fast forward to 2024, and the U.S. is grappling with an unprecedented immigration surge. Cities like New York and Chicago are overwhelmed by migrants, straining public services and creating tension between state and federal governments. Even traditionally liberal mayors are now echoing Trump's concerns, demanding federal action and stricter policies. In a bitter twist of irony, the same policies Trump was ridiculed for are now being quietly reinstated. Trump warned, "If you don't have borders, you don't have a country." Result: record-breaking crossings, growing unrest, and political chaos. Now, in 2025, those warnings ring true. More than 2.5 million illegal crossings were reported in 2023 alone, the highest in history. Cities like New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago are pleading for federal aid as they deal with migrant surges, homelessness, and resource depletion. Violent cartel activity and fentanyl smuggling have surged, with over 100,000 opioid deaths annually in the U.S. Warning number 2, China would rise while America sleeps. Trump's America First campaign wasn't just about slogans, it was rooted in his warnings about China's global dominance. While past administrations tried to integrate China into the global economy with hopes of liberalization, Trump took a radically different approach. He slapped tariffs, called out intellectual property theft, and demanded fair trade. Mainstream media dismissed it as reckless, even dangerous. But here's the catch. Today, China is rapidly advancing in AI, military technology, and infrastructure, while the U.S. faces internal decay. In 2023, China launched over twice as many satellites as the U.S. It dominates rare earth mineral markets and is building influence across Africa, Latin America, and even the South Pacific. Meanwhile, America's manufacturing base remains hollowed out, and dependence on Chinese imports is deeper than ever. In just the last 3 years, China has expanded its military presence in the South China Sea, overtaken the U.S. in AI patent filings and quantum computing, deepened its alliances with Russia, Iran, and North Korea, and started selling oil to global markets using yuan, threatening the petrodollar system. China's plan is clear: dethrone the U.S. without firing a bullet. And Trump saw it coming. Trump warned, China is eating our lunch. Result: a global power shift, as Beijing positions itself as a true superpower challenger. Warning number 3, big tech and free speech were on a collision course. One of Trump's most explosive battles was with Silicon Valley. During his presidency and after, he repeatedly warned about censorship, digital surveillance, and the concentration of power in tech giants. Many saw this as Trump being paranoid or merely retaliating against platforms that moderated his content. But fast forward again. Twitter files released in late 2022 exposed collusion between government agencies and social platforms to suppress information. Thanks to the Twitter files, released after Elon Musk's acquisition, we now know the FBI, DHS, and other federal agencies had direct lines to Twitter, asking for certain posts to be flagged or removed. The Hunter Biden laptop story, which could have influenced the 2020 election, was intentionally suppressed despite its authenticity. Internal Slack messages revealed clear political bias in content moderation decisions. From the Hunter Biden laptop story to COVID-19 lab leak theories, many now declassified documents show that Trump's claims were closer to the truth than the public was led to believe. Whistleblowers from Facebook, Google, and even the FBI have since corroborated these concerns. What once sounded like conspiracy now reads like censorship by design. Censorship wasn't just happening, it was coordinated, and Trump called it out years before the receipts dropped. Trump warned, "They're not just coming after me, they're coming after you." Result: a growing distrust of mainstream media and big tech, and a heated debate about free speech in the digital age. Why we ignored him. So, why did millions scoff at Trump's warnings when the outcomes are playing out right in front of us? It's not just about politics. It's about how media narratives, elite consensus, and cultural biases shaped public perception. When Trump raised red flags, they were quickly dismissed. Not because of lack of substance, but because of who was delivering the message. That's the danger of living in a time where truth becomes a casualty of identity politics. Why didn't we listen? The answer is painfully simple. We judge the messenger, not the message. For many, Trump's rhetoric was abrasive, his tone divisive, his delivery unpolished. But truth doesn't come wrapped in silk. It comes in warnings. And too often, we dismiss those warnings because they don't sound like what we want to hear. Mainstream media fed us narratives. Social platforms curated our views. And in that echo chamber, we silenced the very alarm bells meant to wake us up. We didn't just ignore Trump, we ignored the evidence in plain sight. The warning we might still be ignoring. There's one more Trump warning that could soon move from prediction to reality: economic collapse. He's repeatedly claimed that America is headed toward a depression, fueled by unsustainable debt, energy dependency, and weak leadership. While markets may still seem stable on the surface, rising inflation, banking volatility, and the BRICS nations ditching the dollar could trigger the kind of financial reset Trump has long hinted at. Many rolled their eyes, but in 2025, the national debt is over $35 trillion. Inflation remains sticky and persistent despite rate hikes. Global powers are exploring alternatives to the US dollar, weakening its global position. Energy prices remain volatile, and America is once again dependent on foreign oil. Even everyday Americans feel it. Higher groceries, rent, gas, and healthcare costs. The middle class is being crushed. Could this be the fourth warning we'll wish we had listened to? He warned us about the border. He warned us about China. He warned us about big tech. And now, we're living through the storm he predicted. You don't have to like Donald Trump, but maybe, just maybe, it's time to admit, he was right. Because while everyone else is distracted, Trump warned you 3 times, and you're running out of time to hear the 4th. Before it's too late, ask yourself, what's the next warning we're going to ignore?